What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn. I am your host, Mr. Tight White. Yes, we're back, and I'm rocking the Metroid shirt. Just bought this off of Amazon. Came in the mail yesterday. Nintendo, you think that maybe in my lifetime you can bring me another Metroid Prime game? I've only been waiting half of my lifetime, my adult life. You know, it's funny how you treat Zelda, or not Zelda, I shouldn't say Zelda, because she's a lady. You treat Link from, obviously, the Zelda universe like a god. You treat Super Mario like a god, Luigi like a god, but you treat Samus like she's some kind of piece of shit. Is it because she's a woman? Is that why you're treating Metroid like it's some kind of second-rate indie fucking title? It's very aggravating. It pisses me off. As soon as I get some time off of my job, I'm going to take a road trip down there to Austin, Texas, to Retro Studios. And I'm going to picket in the parking lot. And I'm going to do some very bad things if you don't bring my Metroid Prime to the forefront and release that mother freaker this year. It's taking you longer to release that than it took me to beat Metroid Prime 2. That's another story for another day. Alright, we're not here for video games. We are here for movies. And most of you guys are here for Dollar Tree movies. $1.25 Bush movies. So we're going to go into those. But first we're going to go into, I'm going to start doing this. You guys know how I am. I like to watch the movies before I show them off. So I might do a hunting video, and in the next couple of days I'll watch the movies, or I'll try to watch as many as possible and then give you a quick review of them. That's how we do it on this channel. If I miss some, I'll come back on the next video and we'll include that, I guess, in the beginning of the video. So let's do that real quick. What did I watch that we picked up last week? All right, let me see. I don't want to get confused here. All right, actually, we didn't pick this up last week, but I did pick this up in one of my videos. So we have a double feature here. I want to say that Howling 4 is a dreadful movie, but I didn't watch that. I watched Ghoulies 4. Now, this is a 1994 release. By the way, part 3, they went to college. It was pretty hilarious. So in this movie, the ghoulie aesthetic completely changed. Although part 3 was definitely more of a comedy than horror, it still had those gross, slimy ghoulies in it that we love from part 1 and part 2, if I remember correctly. And this one is just two dwarfs wearing costumes, and they weren't even evil, which is really threw me off. By the way, speaking of those dwarfs, one of those guys was Tony Cox. He's I guess most famous for Bad Santa. Little black fellow. And what else? This movie had some of the hottest freaking women in it. I mean, just one after another. Just a complete smoke show. Let me just go through some of the women here. Not all of them, because there's too many to name. Stacey Randall, which is known for Puppet Master 4, the Trancers movies. Peggy Trentini, she was in Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, Demolition High, which I've not seen. And Barbara Allen Woods, she was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I haven't seen that in a long time, but she's gorgeous as well. And yeah, the beginning of this movie starts off amazing. It's got the girl that I just mentioned, Stacey Randall, in a tight leather, like, dominatrix suit on. She's throwing Chinese stars, and next thing you know, she's got an Uzi. So it just starts off incredible. And then they got the whole pentagram thing on the ground again, and conjuring spirits. But then all of a sudden, these ghoulies come up, and you're like, what the fuck are these? It's like a comedy team. It's like Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello, there's nothing scary about them. And like I said, they're not even bad characters. They're not even evil. They're actually good characters coming from this world. That completely flips the script on the whole franchise. It's almost as bad as Jason Goes to Hell, to be honest with you. And yeah, so if you take those characters out of it, the two dwarfs out of it, completely get rid of the ghoulies, the other part of the movie is pretty fun. You got this police officer. I thought he was good in it. He's banging all of the hot chicks, or he has banged all the hot women in it in the past. The one dominatrix leather-wearing girl, she's like the main villain in the movie that's working for the evil character that I think was in part 1 and 2. And so he used to bang her, and now he's banging the police chief, I believe. And then he's also banging a streetwalker / stripper on the side. Oh my God, she is so gorgeous. I remember seeing her face and being like, okay, she's not as pretty as the Stacey Randall. And then she took off her clothes, and I'm not even talking about stripped down. She's like actually had her bra and panties on. Wow, shit, her body, man, it's just unfreaking believable. This movie's fun, man. The Ghoulies being so just ridiculously comedic, and just you gotta have my Ghoulies have to be slimy creatures. They have to be these slimy, just nasty creatures, man. That's what I love about Ghoulies. They can have a one-liner, say something funny every once in a while, but not to this extent. It's a keeper. I'm keeping it on the shelf. All right, so we talked about this one in the last. Let me get a little sippy here. Now, we talked about this in the last video. So I had watched Spiders, the first one, and I told you guys I really wanted to see Spiders 3D. Now that I've watched it, even though the third act was completely ruined, and we'll get into that in a second, I still feel like Spiders, the first movie, was better than Spiders 3D. Okay, Spiders 2 I have not seen yet. So, I've not seen any, I don't think I've seen anyone else pick this up from Dollar Tree, but if you have, or if you do, please make sure you comment, man. Send me a comment on this video and let me know what happens in the third act, because the third act of this movie is absolutely unwatchable. You know, I picked on Dollar Tree in the past, and if they're selling movies that you cannot even watch because they're so flawed. So basically the third act of this movie, 90% of it looks like, I don't know, like, remember when you used to put your NES in your Nintendo console, and you'd put it in, turn it on, and it would just look like this pixelated mess? That's how the third act of this looks. It's all fucking pixelated. You can't tell what the hell's going on. And, you know, then you got to pop the cartridge and blow in it and put it back in, and then eventually it fixes it. And unfortunately, you can't blow on this motherfucker. It just sucks, and it ruins the whole movie. Again, unfreaking watchable. So I want to know if this is... Can we blame this on Echo Bridge? Is this my Xbox One not being able to play this Blu-ray? I don't know what is going on. I guess I could try it in a different... but my Xbox One should be a good enough Blu-ray player to play this. So I think this is actually a flawed release, and it's straight bullshit. I want my $1.25 back. I don't think I saw that in Spiders, the first one, at all. And hopefully that's not in Spiders 2, but definitely in Spiders 3. So let me know in the comments below if this is just my disc and I need to find another one of these, or what's going on with that. Alright, now, speaking of flawed Blu-rays, so what the hell is this called? And by the way, let me just say this to start here. I'm a big fan of Shudder. I know a lot of people don't have it. I've been subscribed to it for a while now. As far as I know, Shudder does not make their own movies. They just buy the rights to movies to play on their platform. It's important that you understand that. Now, so that being said, don't think that everything's going to be good on Shudder, okay? Now, I'm not dogging this movie, although I can tell it's way more comedy than it is any kind of terrifying movie. It is RLJE, and let me say something about RLJE. You see that on the spine there? I've been having some pretty good luck. Now I actually look for RLJE movies. Now, here's what's effed up about this movie. I have no clue what this movie is about at all. It is subtitled, and I've said this a million times on this channel. Do not let subtitles bother you, because if you don't watch any subtitle movies, you're missing out on some of the best movies ever made. Now, here's the problem in this. The subtitles are on the bottom of the screen, like 99.9% of movies, right? Sometimes they're a little bit lifted up. They're on the very bottom of the screen. So if you say something like, hey, what's up, or something like that, or the dialogue's like, hey, what's up, you're going to see it. But anytime it's something that takes up 2 lines, which is 70-80% of the movie, I would assume, the whole bottom text is cut off. So another movie that is absolutely unwatchable, and I want my money back. This is ridiculous that they're selling stuff at Dollar Tree that you can't even watch. Subtitles that cannot even be read, unless I know the language of this, what is this? I don't know what the freak they speak in this damn shit, but it's unwatchable. So I don't know what to tell you guys about this one. Small Town Killers. So be very careful if you pick this up. You're not going to be able to read the subtext. We're not starting off good here, are we? We're starting off pretty bad here. All right, let me see if there's anything else that I watched from last week. I think that's going to be it. I think everything else is new pickups. Let me see if I can pick out the Dollar Tree stuff first. And then, actually, you know what? Let's do the Goodwill stuff first, because I think there's less of that. And then we'll go to the Dollar Tree stuff. The $1.25 bush. Yeah, because I actually picked up lots of Dollar Tree stuff. More than normal, for sure. Almost like the Shudder month, which was February. Alright, put this to the side here. Hopefully everybody's having a good weekend. I had to shut the car off because the AC vibrates, and I have the phone up on the dashboard, and it drives me nuts, that sound and the vibration of the phone. But it's hot as hell. I got the windows down, but it's windy, so it's actually giving me some kind of breeze through here. Not the ideal recording scenario here. And there's like a dumpster, which the lid keeps flying upside down, up and closing, making a clangy effing noise. It's not like I have a million subs, man. I guess you're gonna have to deal with it. All right, now, I've talked about the Masters of Horror so much. I'm trying to get that complete collection. I showed this off in the last video. It's got George Wendt in it from Cheers fame. And also House 1. I'm not sure if he was in House 2. I haven't seen those movies in a long time. He was definitely in House 1. Horror classic. Man. I've procrastinated on watching all these. I found out that every episode was on Tubi, so I should have marathoned them, but I did not. I think I'm just going to wait till I physically pick them up, because they're not rare. They're pretty common. I'm seeing them a lot. I just saw Jennifer the other day at Goodwill, but I didn't pick it up because I already had it. And I think I picked up 2 copies of it already. I see Jennifer a lot. So this one, man, this is a really good one, man. I really enjoyed this one. John Landis directed this. He directed American Werewolf in London, like we mentioned last week. It's got Meredith Monroe in it, and she is hot. Oh my God, she's beautiful in this movie. And like I said, George Wendt. So I said in last week's video that I quickly summarized, I just took a guess, that this is a suburbia cannibal film, and I could not be any more incorrect about that. It has nothing to do with cannibalism at all. So, quick synopsis here. I'm not going to read the back of it. I'm just going to try to explain it to you guys. By the way, this is an Anchor Bay release. Now, George Wendt, it doesn't really mention in the video. He might have killed his family. I'm not sure. but he's caught, like, it's almost like he builds a new family. So what he'll do is he'll go out and he'll kidnap people or take people hostage, and he'll kill them. So, like in the beginning of the movie, he has a wife, he has a little daughter, and the daughter's talking to him saying, when is grandpa gonna come? And I guess he's thinking and said, okay, I need to take an old guy for hostage and make him grandpa. And then they're talking about grandma, and then he's like, oh, grandma will be here soon. So he has to kidnap an old lady and make her grandma. But you see him in these situations where he's like chilling out in the living room, eating some food, and his daughter is watching TV, and she's too close to the TV, and the wife is like over here on the couch on the other side of where he's eating at, and he's having conversations with them, and he's like, daughter, or whatever her name is, you're sitting too close to the TV. And you see him talking to like real people and stuff, real actors and stuff, and all of a sudden you see that they're not real people, they're just bones. So what he's doing is he's kidnapping these people, and he's making his own family. And he's like, I don't know if he's what his backstory is, if he's worked in a crematorium or he has that kind of background, but he actually gets, I don't know if it's muriatic acid or whatever, but he takes you and puts you like in this or this bathtub in his like secret room, and he pours acid all over you and gets rid of your flesh, cleans you up real good so you're all bones. And then he something about, I don't know, he's like attaches the bones with wires and stuff, and then he puts clothes on you, and then you become part of his family. So it's really sick and sadistic. And so this couple moves in next door, and it just so happens that one of the it's a couple that has no family and stuff, and the husband is a doctor, and the wife is like a private investigator or something like that. So I guess you can kind of see where things are going to go. She's snooping, trying to figure out what's going on with him, but there's like this side story that you find out at the end. The twist to it is really good. This is one of the best ones I've seen so far. I've only seen like 7 or 8 of them, but man, I really enjoyed this one. It's got some cool practical effects in it, and yeah, man, highly recommend this one. Brilliant, disturbing, and refreshing. George Wendt gives an outstanding performance. Don't miss this. Yeah, man, he's really good in it. Definitely like him as an actor, and hopefully I did it a little bit of justice explaining it, but yeah, man, it's super cool. Enjoyed that one a lot. All right, now it's getting hot, so I got to rush through this. All right, I thought that I was picking up my second copy of this because at my 400 subscriber contest, not that I'm trying to get subscribers quickly or anything, I did one at 100, and I haven't done one since, so I kind of feel bad about it. And I do want to get to 500 so I can have a, what is it called, a community page, so I can post stuff on my community page. That would be nice. But anyway, now I have 3 copies of this. I picked this up for the subscriber contest, but I didn't realize I have 2 copies of it. So I'll send one to a friend, and the other one will be in the contest. Again, RLJE Films. Sometimes they hit it out of the ballpark. This is a really good one. I saw this on streaming services. We've talked about this in the past. This is going to somebody in the contest, guys. The movie that says Panic, because somebody has no balls, it should say Satanic Panic. Alright, I'm a massive fan of the Friday the 13th series. Even though I don't love this one, I had to pick it up because I have to be a completionist when it comes to anything Jason, anything Friday the 13th. But let me just say this. I do not want to see Jason in space. I don't want to see Jason in hell. I don't want to see Jason in the Bronx. I don't want to see Jason in Compton. I don't want to see Jason at Walmart, at Costco. I want to see Jason at Crystal Lake, killing fucking camp counselors. That's all I want. Give me the same plot every freaking movie, just with new characters for him to kill. And I will be super happy. Like, The second film hits it out of the park. The third obviously improves because it has the mask, although the second is my favorite of all time currently. But the second had the camp counselors, 3 had the mask. You combine the 2, you have a perfect movie, and the rest of the movie should be like that. Stop trying to get away from the perfect formula. Camp counselors. Change them up and do the same thing. Same formulaic plot. There's no sense in going away from it. I absolutely love it. So yeah, he's in space in this one. It's got one of the cooler kills in the franchise, the cryogenic kill. But yeah, man, I had to pick it up. It's even got the paperwork in there. Oh yeah, $1.99 on that. Goodwill pickup. All right, I just watched this today, and man, this movie gets a lot of hate, but I'm going to tell you right now, I actually enjoyed this movie.
Did you see that? Something's on me.
And this is my quote, by the way. This is, The Ruins is, Little Shop of Horrors meets The Descent. That's the way I look at it. Even though a lot of it's done above ground, I think the evil, you know, is basically born underneath these ruins and stuff. So I still say The Descent on it. Yeah, man, this is a really cool film that a lot of people have hated on. And it's this, these 2 couples are in Mexico, and there's these, I don't know if they're Mayan ruins or whatever they go, where almost like a pyramid, but there's like a, you can go inside the pyramid from the top, and they go over there, and then all of a sudden these people, the natives come out there with spears and shit, and they kill one of the people that they're with, and they're yelling stuff, but they don't understand Spanish, so they don't know what they're saying. And what they're trying to do, they're trying to keep them there at the ruins because they've already like stumbled upon it. So it's like if anybody comes in contact with the ruins at all, the ruins are cursed, and they cannot leave there because they'll cause danger for everybody that's native to that area. And so they force them up the pyramid to the top. Now they're stranded up there. They have little water, little food, and that's where the craziness begins. They try to lower themselves into the pyramid. The rope breaks. The guy he becomes paralyzed from the waist down. They lower someone else in there. They hurt their leg really bad, and then all of a sudden you start seeing these plants everywhere. And that's why I say Little Shop of Horrors, without, of course, the corny musical numbers. But you see these plants everywhere, and these plants start mimicking like cell phone noises, and you know, mimicking their voices and making sounds like sex sounds, where they're turning each other, the characters against each other, where the one lady thinks that her boyfriend's having sex with someone else, and yeah, man, it's really cool, man. I don't know, man. This is the unrated version. I don't know. The coolest things about this movie is the one guy is a pre-med student, and it's these just barbaric like surgeries, that the best way I can describe it, that he has to do because the people are going to die. The one guy has his leg, the plants start attacking his legs, the guy who's paralyzed from the waist down. So they decide they have to cut his legs off, and they do it with a knife. They're pouring like liquor on it, cutting it, like they use a rock to like smash his bones, and then they cut it with a knife, and then they use a hot pan, metal pan, like a not fiberglass, like a cast iron pan to not solder, but you know how you put it on the wound, and it like it's on, like they put it on the leg after they cut it to cauterize it, I think it's called. Man, it's really freaking good. And then like this one chick has like worms like crawling inside of her, and they have to like cut her open and pull the worms out. Man, it's really, really effective. And yeah, man, lots of gore, practical effects, and yeah, there's some CGI in there, obviously, to reenact the plants and stuff like that, but it's mixed with some good CGI or some practical effects. Yeah, man, I like this one. DreamWorks film. All right, the last of the Goodwill pickups. Again, rolling the dice, guys, and trying to see if I could find something, a movie that doesn't look good at all, and trying to find those hidden gems. But yeah, man, the director gave this a good shot. This is a 2006 indie horror flick. This is basically a cabin in the woods ghoul home invasion slasher. Yes, guys, there's ghouls in this movie. Not to be confused with ghoulies that we mentioned earlier. What the fuck is a ghoul? Like, I don't even know what a ghoul is. It's like, is that like a ghost and mixed with a zombie? I don't know. Anyway, this is one of those movies, like, I truly believe if the director had more of a budget, this movie might have worked if, and this is a big if, he didn't make some of the decisions that he made in this movie. This movie looks like shit. I'm not going to lie to you, and it sounds like shit. The audio is like shit. But back to some of the decisions that just really boggled my mind. Okay, you have the regular characters that are not really that interesting that you follow like in mini movies, right? They're the characters that are going to get attacked and they have to defend off the cabin while this invasion of these creatures, these ghouls are going on. But then all of a sudden the ghouls start having conversations outside, and they have feelings, and they're emotional, and they're having moral discussions. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? The ghouls have feelings and thoughts of their own? Aren't they supposed to just kill people? So I don't know, man. That shit just made me crack up. I was like, come on, man. I do not care anything about the ghouls at all, except that they're killers and they're supposed to be eating the flesh of these people in the cabin. So that's kind of a trip. But anyway, that didn't work for me. Again, I think if you had more of a budget, it wouldn't make some of those dumb decisions. It would have been better. There's a lot of good practical effects in this movie. I mean, people's heads are getting ripped off, and lots of gore and stuff in the movie. And yeah, man, the director did pretty decent for what he had. It's just not shelf worthy for me. I think I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to somebody else, and someone else might like it, by the way, and think it's shelf worthy for them. All right, next up here. This is another movie that's going to go into my 400 subscriber contest. I actually have two more to show you. Let me show you both of those right now. So I talked about this in the past. I picked up a double for one of my subscribers here. And this is a Under the Shadow. This is an Iranian horror flick where, I'll explain it really quick. I've explained it in the past, but if you're new to the channel, this is an Iranian horror flick, and they live in this building, a mother and her child, her daughter, and there's like bombs just going off. They're in the middle of a war, and things that we might take for granted here in the United States, but in this area of Iran or Iraq, wherever it's at, there's missiles just exploding everywhere, and it's such a dangerous area and such a crazy place to raise a kid. But all of a sudden, one day, a missile hits their rooftop of this building and literally just is like lodged in the roof. So they go up in the attic area, the people that live in this apartment, and they see this missile there. So luckily for them, the missile didn't explode. But the story is a jinn was riding on this missile. So once it hits that roof, the jinn is actually now inside of this building. So that's where the horror part comes into the movie. And yeah, man, it's a pretty creepy movie. I think one of you guys will enjoy this. I already have this in the collection. It is PG-13, by the way, which is kind of surprising because, yeah, man, it's pretty creepy. All right, I was kind of in a rush at Dollar Tree when I picked this up. I did not know this was a cable television series or streaming service series, but it is. I thought maybe this was just a horror movie, had some decent write-ups on the back of it. So I said, you know what, let me go ahead and take a chance of it. And I was rushing out of there. I had to get home to let the dogs out. So I snagged it up. And it's one of those BBC, so it's like a British TV series. I have not watched any of the Norman Bates series. I don't know what it's called. Is it called Bates Motel or Bates something or another? Maybe it's called Bates Motel, and it has that young actor in it. I know a lot of people really like that series. This guy really reminds me of that Bates guy. And I think he does a really good job. And basically, he is his father is a killer. And his mother's raising him, and the father's been in prison for, I don't know, 15 years or something like that. And he's only 16 years old. So he doesn't remember his father. And the mother is telling him that his father died in the military. Stepped on a landmine or something like that. So he doesn't know his father. And apparently he has this, if you want to believe this, like people like Jeffrey Dahmer, they like are born with this trait that makes them, you know, sadistic killers or whatever. He's kind of like that. He doesn't know his father's a killer, but he's just a killer type of dude. And he ends up killing his grandfather, I think in the first episode, who's laying on his deathbed already, but he's not dying, he's still there, and there's hope for him, and he, for some reason, kills him. Just, there's really no reason to kill him. He just kills him just for no reason. And so, yeah, that's what it is. I never thought I would watch 2 episodes. I don't know how many seasons are in this. If anybody's watching this knows anything about this, let me know in the comments below. But there's 4 episodes on season 1, or at least on this this DVD set right here, and I watched 2 of them, and I gotta admit I'm kind of hooked on it, so I'm gonna watch all 4 of them. And yeah, it's pretty good, man. So that's pretty much it for that. I don't want to go too much into detail about that. Oh, I'm sorry, I have one more movie that I'm going to give away. The Witch in the Window. So this is a 2018 film. I watched this a couple of years ago. I've actually talked about this on this channel before. And I like this movie. This is a lesser known, low budget, good witch story in my opinion. And I didn't really even know this. I'm not good at reading synopsis on the back of DVDs, because one time I did that before and it blew the whole movie. It gave up the a very important element of a movie. Can't remember the name of that movie right now, but so I got away from doing that. And it's funny, when I was reading this synopsis on the back, because I've already watched it, I didn't really care, so I read it. It reminded me or told me something about the movie that made me even like the movie more. I don't know if I forgot it or what. But anyway, so this lady lives in this creepy house, right? I don't know if she was practicing witchcraft or whatnot, or she was a regular woman at first and she became a witch, or what the story was. But she dies. She passes away. And this guy buys the house. He's a single parent, and he's raising a young, like, I don't know, 12, 13-year-old son. And he's a house flipper. So he buys the rights to this house, and now he's going to reflip this house. But it's one of those fixer-uppers, so he has to fix the house up. And what the synopsis taught me was, as he's fixing this house up, the more he rebuilds the house, the more the witch rebuilds herself and becomes stronger and stronger. And I just think that's a, I won't say ingenious, but a really cool element to this movie. Now, you only see the witch one time in this movie. And it's like in the, somewhere in the last part of the first act, or maybe the beginning of the second act. And it's a creepy scene. And that's it. You don't see it again. And it's like, how the fuck can this movie be a good witch movie if you're only seeing the witch one time? This movie has 0 budget, guys. And somehow, I'm not going to give up the twist in the movie, but the third act twist takes no money at all. And it makes it creepy as fuck. Does not even have to show the witch. And it absolutely is mind-blowing. It's a good fucking twist. And I really enjoyed it. There's also something cool in this that's always scared me about movies. The witch has this like mind control where she can attack you in your dreams, and she can seduce your mind into not waking up, sleepwalking from wherever your house is and walking down the road and coming to her house, which I find that really creepy when you're doing stuff in your sleep that you don't know about. So that's another cool element about this. I already own this. You guys know I'm a big witch genre fan, so I'm going to pass this on to one of my subscribers. So yeah, cool underrated horror flick. I want to give up the twist, but I don't want to spoil it. All right, let's get into this one, man. Golly, it is friggin' hot. I'm dying over here. All right, guys. Go to your Dollar Tree right now and pick this friggin' movie up.
Puede elegir no estar aquí.
This is a 2017 release directed by Demian Rugna. Hopefully I'm saying that right. All right, I'm just going to say this out loud. As far as movies from the year 2000 until now, this is probably the best Shudder original. No, let me just say this, because Shudder has not been around that long. I'm saying that wrong. From the year 2000 and on until now, this is probably the best Spanish horror film. Yep, I said it. This is, to me, the best Shudder original. I'm going to say this also. If you get a little bit scared when you watch movies, I do not recommend you watch this movie alone. Do not do it, guys. This is a Spanish horror. Okay, so at its core, this is a ghost story, and I'm fumbling through my words because I'm just remembering this movie, how creepy it is. It makes the hair stand up on your back. It gives you that warm and fuzzy feeling. Or no, not warm and fuzzy feeling. That awkward, scary, like, get up and turn on the lights in the back of your house. Like, you start hearing things. I'm telling you, man, this is really, really well done. Again, RLJE. Keep an eye out for their movies. Every time I see an RLJE movie now, I'm picking it up. Or I'm at least going to check out reviews on it and at least look into it. But yeah, man, this is one of those movies like... I'm trying to think of a movie that, like, from the year 2000, like, almost like Hereditary, like, blew me away. This movie blew me away, like, that much. That's how good this film is. You're going to have to read subtext in this, subtitles, guys, but it's well worth it. There's such a creepy vibe to this movie, and I just don't know a better ghost story from the year 2000 until now. I can't think of one. It is that effing good. What else can I say about this, man? Terrified. Check it out. All right, another witch movie here, guys. All right, this is a 2019 release. This is part of the Scream Factory collection. And yeah, so I always look for Scream Factory films as well, along with the RLJE. Some of the Uncorked stuff I look out for, just to kind of show you where my mentality is when I walk into Dollar Tree. And yeah, so this is a movie about witches in the woods, or is this a movie about zero witches in the woods? This is one of those movies, guys, where it's all up to you as the viewer to decide whether there's something supernatural going on, or if there's no supernatural at all. It's up to you. And movies like this drive me insane. I'm not gonna lie. You know, when I first watched this and the end of the movie happened, I was like, "You motherfucker, man! Are you telling me there was no witches in this movie?" But then I kind of watched some other people's thoughts after I watched this movie, some reviews and stuff. and there's a good chance there was some witch possession going on in this movie. But again, man, it's up to you to decide that. It leaves it up in the air, and I think what the director was trying to do is he puts this group of people together. Some of them are friends, some of them hate each other. It's a weird collection of people, and they're all on this Suburban, and they're up in the north, and they're driving to this destination so they can all go snowboarding together. And they get turned around because the police say the road's closed. They end up trying to do a detour, and they go into an area where there's a chain in front of a road, and they bust through the chain. Of course, they shouldn't have done that. And they end up going in this path. They get lost. They're about to run out of gas. They get stuck in the snow. One of the girls starts having seizures and acting really fucking weird. And at one point before all that happened, they went into a gas station and picked up a pamphlet that said this area back in the 1800s had witch trials, and witches were hung and burned at the stake. And so that brings in that witch element where you're like, holy shit, is this girl being possessed by witches? This girl that's in the backseat of the Suburban. And then all of this stuff happens where it could be coincident. It could be, you know, let's say a bear killing someone, because they have to like leave the Suburban. They're running out of gas. They're going to freeze to death out there. No one knows they're there. And then someone, you know, let's say someone gets killed that leaves. Was it a bear that did it, or was it the girl that is having these seizures, or possession? It plays on that, like seizures could seem like it's a possession type of deal. I'm really right in the middle on this one, guys. It's a beautiful film. The cinematography is great in it. I thought the acting was good in it. And I love witches in movies, and you just don't really get that in this movie. At first I was like, wow, this is like a real toned down witch movie. But like later on, when I found out that what they were trying to do with the movie, I realized that it's not toned down at all. They're trying to do that for you to decide whether it's real or not. And I'm probably going to keep this on the shelf, but and do a rewatch one day. But yeah, I can see people being split on this one. It's probably just, it's one of those movies that some people are going to really, really despise. I can just go ahead and tell you that. Right now. All right, 2 more movies and I'll let you guys go. All right, so another movie that you can find at Dollar Tree right now that I do recommend you guys pick up.
The car broke down just down the road, and I was wondering if I could just use the phone really quick.
What is the deal with these people?
It has a slip cover. I don't know if this is new or if it was last month's drop or what, but I didn't see it last month. This is a 2018 IFC Midnight release. This is also part of the Scream Factory collection. This is a home invasion film and has, at least for a little bit, everyone's favorite evil teen witch from The Craft. Yes, Fairuza Balk. I didn't know that was her real name, but everyone loves her in The Craft. I'm a big witch fan. I'm a big The Craft fan. Yeah, so this is a home invasion film. I think all the characters in it are Spanish characters. There's one actor in it who he plays, so his name is Carlo Rota. He's a sergeant of police in this movie. I thought he was really, really good in this movie. And he plays a Spanish cop, but he's not. He's just a Canadian guy. And he plays a real evil cop that... All right, guys, sorry about the jump cut in there. When I was going back, and I ran out of memory on my phone, basically, but when I was going back watching the end of the video to see where I left off at, I realized that I was recording in, I think it's called mirror imaging, where everything's spelled backwards, and that drives me nuts. I'm not going to re-record the video, so at least for the end of this video, it'll be recording proper, where you can read the shirt in the correct direction, you can read the movies in the correct direction, but yeah, so I think it's called mirror imaging. I had to fix that. I defaulted my phone earlier and forgot that I did that, and I needed to go back and switch that back to normal recording. But anyway, so back to this, we were talking about Carlo Rota. He's a sergeant of police in here. Man, just plays a real good evil cop character. And basically what happens in this movie is they later on come to help out. So let me just briefly talk about this. So the lady from The Craft, Fairuza Balk, she's like this neighbor who says her car breaks down, so she knocks at the door when these two couples are staying. They're basically renting a house. I think it's in North Arizona. It's this real nice house. They're doing coke and having sex and stuff, and just having a bunch of fun. And there's these couples, there's this thing going on where they've cheated with each other and they don't know about that. So there's this underlying thing with that. And then when Fairuza Balk's character knocks at the door, she's asking to use their telephone, and they're real weary of her at first. They don't want to let her in. And sure enough, she was sent, I guess, by the bad guys as kind of a probe, you know, a first person to send in, so she can call them and say, okay, this is the situation in the house. This is how many people are here. They have weapons or they do not have weapons. And so she's like a mole sent in. Anyway, she ends up getting killed on accident by them as they're trying to get her out of the house, because she won't leave the house, and she falls backwards and this thing goes through her head. Really cool. I think it was a practical effect, honestly. But now she's dead. All of a sudden the police show up. They're wondering what's going on. And but there's a twist to that, whether they're good or bad guys. And the Carlo Rota character, he actually finds out about the fact that there's some cheating going on, so he uses that against them. And by the way, that character Carlo Rota, he's known for playing O'Brien, or Morris O'Brien, in the Fox series 24. If you guys are a fan of that 24 series with Kiefer Sutherland. But anyway, yeah, man, this is a home invasion film. It's got the Day of the Dead mask in it. The home invaders. Where I'm not going to say this is the best home invasion film that I've ever seen, but for $1.25, I think it's definitely worth your time. And it's got Fairuza Balk in it, so come on, man. You guys got to check this one out. I can't remember if I mentioned, because of the jump cut, this is a Scream Factory collection. See right there on the spine, a part of the Scream Factory collection. And yeah, man, it's a pretty cool film. Check it out. All right, last movie here, guys.
It spreads like an STD. If we do not stop it, it could affect all of mankind.
Before I run out of more space on the phone, this is a 2019 film. This is a remake of the 1977 David Cronenberg movie. I'm guilty. I've never watched the original Rabid, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's one of his classics, I hear. And Cronenberg's known for body horror, and this is no different. This is definitely a body horror film. This was remade by, can't remember their name, but it's twin sisters, I believe. And, okay, so yeah, the movie looks great. The cinematography is unreal. It has lots of cool practical effects in it. The main protagonist, she's like a fashion designer. She works for this famous fashion designer. She's like an assistant. She goes to a club and she doesn't really want to be there. She's kind of a she doesn't really fit in with the crowd that she works with. She works with a bunch of supermodels and stuff like that, and she just doesn't fit in. She feels very she's not confident, I don't think. And she's leaving the club. She gets in a horrific bike wreck, and her face just gets completely just decimated. She loses her cheek. You can see inside of her mouth. It's like really like gory and nasty looking. And she ends up getting this stem cell surgery, which is done by this private clinic, and she ends up having these nightmares because of the stem cell surgery, and she starts craving blood, and then all of a sudden the movie turns into this zombie flick. This is like a human version of the movie Cujo, guys. So everybody has this this strand of rabies that comes in contact with her, and they start turning into these flesh-eating zombies. And yeah, man, lots of cool gory effects in it. Like I said, lots of special effects. Again, I've not seen the original. I think they take some liberties in this movie, and it's definitely not a shot-for-shot remake. There's some different stuff they try with it. I thought it's pretty good for what it is. Man, it has some problems in the third act. It kind of drags to me, and some pacing issues, I would say. But I mean, overall, it's a cool film. I think for $1.25, you cannot go wrong with this one. I would say check it out, but definitely watch the David Cronenberg movie first, and then watch this one. Don't do it ass backwards reverse like I did. And yeah, that's it. All right, guys, I'm gonna break a window. I didn't break a window. Let me break a window with something shittier that doesn't play correctly. No, I actually like one of those movies. Let me find something shitty here. Something I don't care about. Born to Kill. Although I do like this. I'll break a window. All right, guys, so that's it. Thanks for checking out the video. And yeah, I mean, I'm bringing you a lot. I think this is the first time I brought you 2 Dollar Tree movies or videos in 1 month, but you guys like the Dollar Tree stuff. I might be going away from the Goodwill hunting videos. Not that I'm going to stop Goodwill hunting and showing you those movies. I think I'm just probably going to tie them to the Dollar Tree so that you get a combination of both. But you guys know me, I don't like picking up shitty ass movies constantly from Dollar Tree. So if we're having some bad months and I just don't see anything from Dollar Tree that I want to pick up, I could return with the Goodwill stuff. But as long as monthly I can pick up at least a few titles from Dollar Tree and then continue with some of the success of picking up some cool stuff from Goodwill, then I'll just combine the both, if that makes any sense. All right, guys, 400 subscribers coming up, and we'll do that contest. And yeah, good luck out there finding whatever physical media that you are looking for. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys and see you in the next video. Peace out, guys.